Panther people. What's going on? You're watching Panthers post-game edition with the Panthers losing 24-6 in front of a homecoming crowd. And we're here to get your feelings let out. If you're new here, like, subscribe, share. This is a good place to be, especially the comment community. I love the dialogue between myself and us hurt fans right now because we're hurt. We're emotionally hurt. If you're me, you're physically hurt. Your eyes are burning. I had to take a walk around the block and go to the hardware store just to get my mind off that game. It was maddening. It was infuriating. It made you want to cheer for golf. So if you're new here, what's up? If you're not new here, welcome back. From what I've learned after what we thought was the worst loss of the season against the New York Giants at the Meadowlands, misery sure does love company. And while I appreciate the attention, over 3,000 views on that episode, it just goes to show people want answers. People want to know what the heck is going on with this team. What is the direction of this squad? It's not like I'm Scott Fitterer myself. I'm just a fan, and I'm just going to say it how I feel. And that's the best part about these Sunday night vlogs, is that they're emotional. They're raw, and that's what we're going to be here for. I wish this was a call-in show type situation. I know the other guys are doing that. Man, that'd be so awesome that I could just talk to everybody live on the air, almost like I have my own talk show, and just vent. I could vent for hours. I really could, because the main reason why I started this vlog is because I'm in Southern Ontario. Who the hell am I going to talk about the Carolina Panthers with here when they lose at home to the New England Patriots, which, you know what, it's not the worst. It's not like losing to the New York Giants. We're going to break this all down as rationally as one can after an embarrassment like that. But, you know, you want to talk about it with people, and that's what this is for. So once you watch this, make sure to comment in the comment community. It's a beautiful place to be. Let me know how you feel. I'm going to get back to you as soon as you comment. All right, where to start with this game? Firstly, let's set the stage. It's homecoming, all right? So Roaring Riot, they got their band. They had live music yesterday. People were ready to go. At the same time, I saw videos of a swarm of New England Patriots fans making their way to Charlotte for this game. It could have been the Cam Newton revenge game. Should have been the Stephon Gilmore revenge game. It started off all right, but then ended like a tire fire, which then ended up in a nuclear power plant, which then ignited and then just decimating everything 100 miles around it. But anyway, it was supposed to be a feel-good day for everybody. Back at home, you just beat a division rival in the Atlanta Falcons by running the ball a fourth most times in franchise history for 200 and some odd yards. You know, Chuba Hubbard is really coming into his own. Amir Abdullah was a welcome addition to this team. You know, Sam Darnold was out, but you had this promise of P.J. Walker, who had been practicing with the team all week, and then you sprinkle in Christian McCaffrey is back. So imagine P.J. Walker, who has only started for the Carolina Panthers last year, sans Christian McCaffrey, now getting 22 at his disposal, you know, and he adds a little bit of a different dynamic to the squad with his scramble ability. And, you know, things were kind of being like, okay, it's kind of an unknown, but it's an exciting unknown against the New England Patriots team, which was also 4-4. They were 3-2 in the last 5 games. They're playing a lot better, made the Los Angeles Chargers look somewhat pedestrian. And again, you're up against Bill Belichick, all right? The greatest coach in NFL history, up against a guy who was in college 2 years ago. And Bill Belichick, as we mentioned in the last episode, is a defensive mastermind against Joe Brady. Again, was in college 2 years ago and has never been an offensive coordinator ever in his career. So I did predict that could be quite the matchup heading into this, and all the favor going to the New England Patriots side. But you thought, you know, maybe the Panthers finally found their identity in running the ball and running the ball effectively. So should we even start with that? You know what? Let's go with what happened pregame. So this morning, all the Panthers reporters, Adam Schefter, everyone reporting that not only was Christian McCaffrey activated from injured reserve and going to play for the Panthers, Sam Darnold, who got knocked the F out last week in one of the final plays of the game when he went scrambling. I think he had 64 yards rushing. He got knocked the F out. Not only did he suffer a concussion, was in concussion protocol, but he also hurt his shoulder. And Matt Rule said leading up to this game that the shoulder was as much of an issue, if not more of an issue, than his concussion. Well, he cleared concussion protocol, all right? And then the shoulder, I guess he was cleared enough to play quarterback, because last time I checked, you need your arm to play quarterback, whether it's your throwing arm or not. If you're in pain, you're in pain. And we wondered this. If Sam Darnold were to come back and he was concussed or feeling concussion-like symptoms, he makes bad decisions when he is completely not concussed. When he's somewhat concussed, what kind of decisions is he going to make? So there's going to be some questions being asked here once we get into the details of the game. Was Sam Darnold actually cleared from concussion protocol? Because he was making some decisions. I was like, dude, are you thinking straight? Maybe he thinks less when he's slightly concussed. He's just more impulsive. But so Sam Darnold was activated. He cleared concussion protocol. That means PJ Walker, thanks so much for practicing with the first team as much as you did. Thanks for, all the clips that we got leading up to this game. Robby Anderson, of course, played with PJ Walker at Temple, saying that, you know what, that's my guy. We have a great rapport. We're all rooting for him. Everyone in the locker room is rooting for PJ to do his thing. Phil, 2 L's, PJ Walker, come on. And he's like, thanks for everything you did. Sam's our guy, as if he's proved that for the majority of the season. Now we're in week 9, first 3 games. Sure, maybe he may have shown that he could be the guy. But leading into this week 9 game against the New England Patriots, he hasn't really showed anyone that he's the guy. But guess what, PJ? Sit this one out. Sam's our guy for this game. I think Panther Culture, who is a great follow on Twitter, he loves to stir it up. Said that Matt Rule, just kind of like, a coach on the hot seat or a GM on the hot seat, love to do this. They tie themselves to a rookie quarterback because they say, hey, at least, while we're going to have growing pains, at least we can say he's a rookie quarterback. The game is so fast for him. We're just going to just keep on nurturing. We're going to have some bumps. We're going to have some ups and downs. We're going to have some promising moments. We're going to have some learning opportunities as well. But guess what? Sam Darnold isn't a rookie. And the fact that it seems like on the outside that Matt Rule is hanging his hat, he's handcuffing himself to this guy who has been on the verge of being a bust, if not already a bust, makes you wonder. Either he's one of those like super confident guys that is just, he read The Secret once and feels like he's impervious to criticism, to anything bad happening to him, that he thinks he's just a better coach than everyone else out there, that he can coach this guy who, sure, is a year older, a year younger than Joe Burrow, and he's not that much older than a guy we saw today in Mac Jones. So maybe they're treating him like a rookie. But if he was a rookie, he's arguably the worst rookie in the NFL right now. It's not Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence or whoever is struggling right now. Sam Darnold is not playable right now. He just isn't playable. And so anyways, back to that point by Panther Culture, that if Matt Rule is hanging his hat on Sam Darnold right now, and Sam Darnold produced what he produced today, barely practicing with the first team, PJ Walker was doing that all week, and you gave the hook to PJ before letting him get under center once today, giving it to Sam, who was barely a week into concussion protocol, had a busted up shoulder. You put him out there. It results in that performance at home with Christian McCaffrey back. What does that mean? Who's the fall person here? Is it Matt Rule because he put the Panthers in this position by putting in Sam Darnold? And I was thinking, is it Joe Brady? Is it Joe Brady? Is he a fall person in this situation? Let's take a look at the identity that the Panthers supposedly uncovered or realized last week in terms of rushing. 4, 7, 21, 23 times, all right? So it's not their 40 some odd. It's not their 15, but it's nothing great. Pass attempts, 5, 6, 10, 13, 16 attempts receiving. So statistically speaking, the Panthers were trying to establish the run, but then when you're going up against, as I said, one of the greatest defensive minds in football, friend Coach Belichick, coached Lawrence Taylor, one of the best linebackers of all time, and they made the Panthers one-dimensional. They said, yeah, sure, run on us. Run as much as you want, but try to pass because we're going to stuff you up in the run, despite having Christian McCaffrey and Chuba Hubbard and Amir Abdullah. Royce Freeman was a healthy scratch. They're just begging the Panthers to have 14 throw the damn ball. And then when he did, man, paid for it. Absolutely paid for it. And so Joe Brady he could scheme up whatever he wanted. There were guys open. So you can't hate on Joe Brady for that. You can't hate on the O-line. The O-line, which was decimated by injuries. We just saw now that Matt Paradis out for the year. Our starting center out for the year with a torn ACL. Cam Irvin was limping off the field as well. So you had 2 starting caliber guys off the field, 2 reserve guys in there. Now you have your backup center for the rest of the year. Unless you pick up somebody from someone's practice squad or however free agency works right now. But now you're going to be in your 7th and 8th different offensive line combination for the rest of the year. So, but despite all that, The offensive line gave Sam Darnold the ball. Even the color guy, I think it was Archuleta, who was saying Sam Darnold just refusing to let go of the ball. He's just not doing it. Just to recap, I'm all over the place. Joe Brady right now, can you blame him? He schemed up guys. Guys were open. The offensive line, I can't get mad at them. Despite the injuries, I don't think Sam really had that much pressure. It was all in his head. The skill players, guys were catching balls. DJ Moore caught a hospital ball, got the air knocked out of him, kind of the same way Robby Anderson did last week. Christian McCaffrey came to play. The guy he didn't get hurt, which is great. And he ran the ball well. He was running with power. He was catching the ball when it was ever passed to him. DJ Moore was there to play. Robby Anderson was kind of there to play, except there's this one pass we're going to talk about where I feel like he's kind of given up on his former Jet. Is it on Matt Rule? So right now it's a toss-up. Is it on Matt Rule because he is just so blindly loyal to Sam Darnold, to put Sam Darnold in this situation where he might not even been 100% shoulder-wise? They say he passed concussion protocol, or is it all on Sam for being that bad? Like really, really bad. He was 16 for 33, 172 yards, 3 picks, a quarterback rating of 26.3. He had 2 interceptions to the same Patriots wide receiver. He basically was a wide receiver. The New England Patriots, J.C. Jackson picked off Sam Darnold twice. Sam also has adopted this Matt Rule blind confidence in himself because he was making some plays where there's one that was just a hell of a defensive play. But there's some plays by Sam Darnold where you were just like, bro, are you on shrooms right now? So there was one where he was headed to the end zone, had his guy, tossed it, J.C. Jackson picks him off. Then he tries another one where he had a pretty clean pocket, chucked the ball, according to the color guy, so I'm not a QB coach, but he threw it, the trajectory was just too low enough that defensive lineman Jamie Collins jumped, I don't know what his vert is, but jumped and just two-hand grabbed in the air, boom. Like you're playing basketball against your son, who's 5, and you're a full-grown man, and he's shooting a 3 from the three-point line, just bang, caught it. Like you're playing with your kid. Like Sam was in his pocket. He was done. And the next one was, I don't know if Sam was watching Patrick Mahomes highlights or lowlights, if you're talking about this year. He had Ian Thomas wide open. And from what it looked like he tried to do like a Matt Stafford, Pat Mahomes type, maybe 10, 15-yard shovel pass. And J.C. Jackson picked that thing off like it was nothing. Just picked it off, read it, 88 yards to the house. That's a wrap on the game. You take the fans out of it. You put the New England fans into the game, and it was embarrassing. The loudest the home fans got was when they were booing their own team into halftime. When there was 24 seconds left to go in the half, and the Panthers ran one check down play to Amir Abdullah and they just stood there. They just stood there. Didn't even attempt anything into the end zone. No Hail Mary, nothing. At least try. That's all these fans want. They're not always going to be X's and O's people. They're not going to be analytics people. They just want to see you try. That's all people really care about. Are you trying? And I know Sam's probably trying. And I'm sure he's a great guy. I'm sure he's a great hang. But he's too Joe Cool. He's too Southern California. Like I said before, he doesn't have enough of that East Coast, 4 seasons, a bit of grit in him. He's got none of that. And these lackadaisical friggin' attempts and his lackadaisical and just chilled out outlook on the game, just like not taking care of the football. And Matt Rule said that after the game that we got to stop doing this. When they asked about if Sam Darnold's the guy, we just got to stop doing this. So you stop doing it. Stop doing what you're doing and then trusting in 14. Stop it. It's brutal. It's embarrassing. And I think there's a shot of Sam. I don't know if it was sweat that just so happened when the camera found him right about there, right where one's tear ducts are. But it looks like Sam Darnold was crying. And if he's crying, dude, maybe he's crying because he knows this is probably his last game as a starter in the NFL. But you know what? This could be the rest of his trajectory of his career. I think he trains with Jordan Palmer, who is a renowned quarterbacks coach, who coaches some of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. But maybe that's Sam Darnold's trajectory in the rest of his life as an NFL player. He's a guy who had his chance as a starter in the NFL. He has now shown. It's got 3.5 freaking years showing that he is not the guy. He is not a franchise quarterback. He's not a first string quarterback. He's not. He's a second string guy. He's a good locker room guy. He's a good film room guy. I'm sure he's a really smart dude. We saw the whiteboard in Panther Confidential. He's a smart guy. So maybe that's who he is. He's a great backup quarterback, Chad Henne style. He'll come in a pinch in a blowout or in a blowout loss, but he is not the guy. We said it 1,000 times in episodes before. He is a trailer. He's not a tractor. And then maybe when he retires, he becomes a QB coach like Jordan Palmer. Because at last check, Jordan Palmer did not have a great NFL career. He was a career backup. At least Sam Darnold, 3rd overall pick. He's got the notoriety. He played in the Big Apple. He played in Charlotte. He's played several games as a starter in the NFL. You can maybe flip that and you can coach high school kids when you're done. But right now, for the rest of his career, could be for another 10 years, you're a backup. When he comes back in maybe in 2030, you're like, oh, snap, Sam Darnold still in the league? Whoa, he's made $150 million in his career already? Like, that's where he's at, okay? What the rest of the season's going to look like. They're 4-5. They play the Arizona Cardinals at Phoenix. Kyler Murray was not playing today. He was banged up after that game against the Green Bay Packers. So he's going to get 2 full weeks rest before he takes on the Carolina Panthers. I was feeling good about that game because the way our defense has been playing with Stephon Gilmore, who got his 2nd pick in 2 games. And then Frankie Lou was lighting up the stat sheet in terms of just tenacity and, as I mentioned before, intensity. They did have a fumble recovery as well. Shaq Thompson has a pretty good game as well. But Brian Burns tweaked his ankle. We don't know what it is right now. His brother, Hype Man Lucci, said that pray for my bros. I don't know whether it's a broken ankle or not. I also don't know whether that was the same ankle that Mac Jones was caught freaking twisting after that forced fumble recovery. A lot of people say that they hope the league looks into that. But let's be honest, New England Patriots quarterback league's not going to do anything. So I think it's going to be the start of another slide for this team. And I know I've been saying that I think that this team can make the wild card. It is not looking good. Not looking good. What I'm afraid is now in terms of the direction of this team, and this is going to be my last thought, the direction of this team. So you sign guys on short-term deals, hoping that maybe you can catch fire, maybe reinvigorate Sam Darnold. So you have Hassan Reddick on a short-term deal, and you got Stephon Gilmore on a short-term deal. And you got to pay DJ Moore. You paid Robby Anderson. You've paid Sam Darnold for next year. And all of this was hinging on maybe coaching up Sam Darnold to be somebody. And he's not somebody. So if you're Hassan Reddick, you're Stephon Gilmore, you sign these quick deals. And I know Hassan Reddick did tweet earlier this week, that he loves being Carolina Panther, but he's just saying, he could just be saying that. And Stephon Gilmore could just be saying that, you know what, I'm sick of the culture with the New England Patriots. I want to go somewhere close to home, just live my life, stress-free. Do you think they want to be part of this? Because next year there's going to be a new quarterback. And unless things change drastically with whoever that quarterback may be, whether it's AR-12 or Russell Wilson or who knows, because I don't think I saw any ISO shots on owner David Tepper, but he cannot be happy. But you got all these short-term deals on guys who are delivering. So it's not even guys who are signing short-term deals and not playing well. You got short-term deals on guys who are delivering for you. And do they want to be a part of this again next year? Hanging your hat on a quarterback that has shown nothing throughout their career. Who knows if they, maybe, I keep mentioning his name, Jared Goff. Are they going to really believe in Jared Goff in the offseason? Convince themselves that Jared Goff could be the guy. We could transform Jared Goff. We could transform Andy Dalton. We could transform Blake Bortles. He's got the metrics, what's up? Is this team ready to have those kind of players? Because they're like Matt Rule said, it's not a win now. They try to win every week, which is why they pick up guys like Stephon and Hassan Reddick and Morgan Fox and CJ Henderson. That's why they do that. But are they getting ahead of themselves that this is just where we are? We're just not ready for the big time. So why are we spending money? You're going to have to spend money on Hassan and Stephon Gilmore to keep them around long term, and DJ Moore. You're going to have to pay them to keep them around. But why? What's the point? If you don't have a quarterback yet, in 2 years you haven't been satisfied with your quarterback play, what do you do? What do you tell them? What is the strategy here? I wish I was a fly on the wall right now with David Tepper, Scott Fitter, maybe not even Matt Rule. Keep Matt Rule out of it. But for personnel purposes, what is the plan in the offseason? Because you really have to start thinking about what is the plan for the offseason. Is Fitty telling, David Tepper, look, I know this is shit. I'm going to make it up to you. I'm going to trade this. Aaron Rodgers, in the public eye right now, the court of public opinion, not in everyone's favor right now. At last check, the Green Bay Packers were losing to the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's see how they're doing right now. Last check, they're losing 13-0, dying seconds of the third quarter. So maybe Jordan Love isn't showing like he's the guy right now. But let's say that he showed enough to the Green Bay brass that they're like, you know what, we'll let go of Aaron during the offseason. We don't want to deal with his drama. We don't want to deal with his critical thinking, whatever it is. We're going to let him go. And maybe Scotty says, hey, Dave, DT, we're gonna go all in on Aaron Rodgers. We're gonna bring him here. We're gonna do it. We have the pieces on offense and defense to make it happen. It was just our shitty ass quarterback and Sam Darnold losing us games every single time. Put in Aaron Rodgers in there, we're a playoff contender. Put in Russell Wilson there, we're a playoff contender. So maybe that's the conversation that is happening right now. But at this moment, I just don't understand what the next steps are for this team. First of all, you got to figure out the quarterback situation. I don't think it's a rookie. I still think the draft is where they're gonna have to focus on offensive line help. They really do. Look at the injuries, man. At least for depth, you got to do it. You got to trade some dudes. Maybe it's a Dante Jackson. You got to let people go to gain draft assets because right now there's no second and third round picks. It's brutal. Robby Anderson just letting Sam have it, as he should. Someone needs to yell at this guy. It seems like since they picked him up, the Panthers social media and the coaches have been talking up this guy like he's running for mayor at a small town, like he is the friggin' guy. Sure, he's never been a politician before, but he's going to turn this city around. And we believe in him. And then when he gets the mayor, what does he do? He lights the city on fire. That's exactly what Sam Darnold's doing right now. But Robby Anderson is yelling at him, taking the kid gloves off and just slapping him around. And I'm sure fans loved seeing that. What I also saw, I didn't love, but I don't blame him. Sam got the ball to Robby towards the sidelines. Boom. Easy completion. Easy gaining of yards. I don't know if it was even a first down, but instead of toe drag swag, it was toe, gallop, go out of bounds, which made me feel that Robby just not happy with his quarterback. Kind of like Odell Beckham situation, but guess what? In this case, Robbie's right. Obviously, I'm going to watch next week because I do like watching Kyler Murray. Shout out Park Koreans, what up? But I just hope PJ Walker's under center, see what he does with a healthy Christian McCaffrey on his team, and then maybe guys play for him. I just hope Scott Fitter has a plan. It's his first year as general manager, so you would assume that this could be the assessment phase. And what he sees is he effed up with Sam Darnold. You have a very good defense. Could be better if you give them opportunities to be great in terms of field position than your quarterback not turning it over. You have offensive skill players who clearly last year showed you that they can do it. It's just you need a quarterback, and you got to give Dave Tepper what he wants in the offseason. Franchise quarterback. We're going long. I appreciate you guys. Midweek episode on Thursday. We'll see what happens. I do appreciate you letting your feelings know in the comment community. Beautiful place? It's a pretty place. It's not beautiful right now. It's pretty. But maybe we'll all come together. We'll see what happens. See you guys on Thursday.